What is good, y'all? We are so close to the season, baby. We got college football on right now. I'm drafting in literally less than an hour. It's gonna be electric. Football is back, baby. And we looked through the post-roster cuts, the 53-man roster on every NFL team, and there's a couple winners and losers that stood out right before your draft. These guys, again, deep sleepers, great waiver wire additions. Definitely give them a look, potentially pick them up. One of these guys especially I really like. The least talked about RB2 in the league right now. But let's get into it. Not yet. We're going to start off on the Miami Dolphins receiver room with Malik Washington. So let me check Malik Washington's draft capital again. Malik Washington was a six-round pick this year out of Louisville, I think. And he's one of 4 wide receivers on Miami's final roster. It's him, Tyreek, Waddle, and Braxton Berrios. Now, so River Craycraft and Odell are both on IR/PUP, something like that. They're eligible to return after 4 weeks. However, Malik has been gushed over by the training staff during training camp. This guy's a real opportunity to be wide receiver 3 on the Dolphins offense, especially in best ball. We know how electric the Miami offense is. Malik is super athletic, great addition. He could be wide receiver 3 day 1. And with only 4 wide receivers, you know he's getting in those packages day 1. He easily has the most upside outside of obviously a Tyreek, a Waddle. But this young guy coming in the Miami offense, you know how dangerous that offense is for fantasy purposes. And he's going to get opportunity right away. There's not that much to hate for a late round pick like Malik Washington. Next up, the guy in Green Bay, and y'all already know we're on it early, bro. I've been giving y'all the sauce, man. I told you guys this is a guy to watch. Emmanuel Wilson, Green Bay Packers. And we're also going to talk about Marshawn Lloyd a little. It's basically the whole Packers running back room because we got shocking news this week, and that was A.J. Dillon got put on season-long IR. He's out for the season, not coming back, not designated for return. So if you watched my earlier videos, Emmanuel Wilson was on my radar with strong performances in the preseason, but it looked like it was going to be tough. He was maybe going to be the 4th running back on the roster. He may not even make the roster. However, with A.J. Dillon out, it opens the opportunity for Emmanuel Wilson, and we have to note that Marshawn Lloyd himself, who would be the RB2 in Green Bay, is still out of practice. He has been for like 3 weeks. We saw like none of him during the preseason because he has a hamstring injury, and we know how iffy those can be. He may or may not be back for week 1. Right now, Emmanuel Wilson is not getting drafted in like any normal leagues, and he's the Packers RB2 behind Josh Jacobs, who's very old. Lloyd is also definitely a beneficiary here. He has a lot easier path to carries because if Josh Jacobs goes down, it's going to be Emmanuel Wilson and Marshawn Lloyd. That's much better than competing with A.J. Dillon, who at least is a serviceable NFL running back, RB2, right? And also, another thing to note here with Lloyd, he's a winner because he avoided getting put on IR PUP, so they expect him to be able to play sometime in the first 4 games of the season, which is good. But for now, Emmanuel Wilson, you guys should definitely keep him on the radar. He could be very, very relevant. And what can I say? I told you guys early, right? You're getting the best sauce here, baby. Next guy, bro. Pound the horn, bro. I've been talking about this guy. He was on my sleepers list. His ADP drop, bro. Y'all ain't believe, bro. But this guy showed out in week 2. Kimani Vidal. And then week 3, the Chargers coaching staff sat him out of the game entirely. Fantastic. That's what we love to see, baby. Y'all thought this guy was getting cut, bro. Y'all thought this guy was getting cut. Nah, man. Kimani Vidal will be the Chargers RB1 at the end of the season, bro. He sat out all of week 3. They played Jarrett Patterson, who did make the roster. So there's 4 running backs on the Chargers. But Kimani Vidal sitting out guarantees him at least that number 3 spot behind Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, bro. Gus Edwards is a fine NFL running back. Going to get a lot of goal line carries. I'm not totally against drafting other Chargers. I have been mixing in some Edwards, some Dobbins. Dobbins, we just don't really know, man. I mean, we've basically seen him play like 1 NFL game in the last like 3 years, dude. So, Vidal, I like here. Says a lot that the coaching staff, he had a great showing week 2, and the coaching staff was like, we've seen enough. You're on the team. You're not even on the roster bubble anymore, which, like we said, was kind of reported a little bit. So, Kimani Vidal, hype train. full steam forward. His ADP got heavily discounted because of that, and I took a ton of him. Thank you guys for that dip, but we ate that up, and we are full speed ahead on that hype train, baby. Next up, very similar to the Packers with A.J. Dillon. The Niners had a surprise this week where Elijah Mitchell got put on season-long IR, some kind of other injury, I forgot, but everyone familiar with fantasy should know. Sorry about that. Everyone familiar with with fantasy should be aware of this upside of the Niners' backfield. Even before CMC, we saw with Shanahan, Mostert was pretty fantasy relevant. I think like Tevin Coleman before that. Whoever would come in would put up like 20 points, and even more with CMC now. So if CMC is to get hurt, Mason was low-key already looking to take over RB2 from Mitchell. Reports out of camp were saying Mason was climbing up the depth chart to be that number 2 instead of Elijah Mitchell, pushing Elijah Mitchell down to the RB3. And then Guerrero, we know, I think 5th round rookie this year, really fast, great speed. So Guerrero has a better upside in my opinion. Like, if he really pans out and CMC gets hurt, I think he has a higher ceiling. But Mason definitely has the higher floor. NFL veteran, we know what he can do, and really you just need that opportunity of CMC to get hurt, or for the Niners to be up so much that they give the ball to the backup, which honestly, with how scary the Niners look this season, is not a crazy thing, especially now that they brought back Ayuk, right? Last guy we have is Carson Steele, Chiefs running back / fullback. Now, this is my bad. I was hyping up Deneric Prince. I did not believe the Carson Steele hype. But Carson Steele played in week 3, looked awesome, solidified his roster spot, and Deneric Prince is off of the Chiefs now. He didn't make the final roster. Carson Steele got the nod over him. So, as I said before, the RB3 in Kansas City has a really strong opportunity playing behind CH, who's literally just a guy. Like, literally just a guy. Lost his job to Pacheco. Like, CH is not him. And then Pacheco is low. Pacheco has low draft capital. Like, he's undrafted. Steele is also undrafted, though, so that really does not tell us that much. We're not saying Steele is going to take Pacheco's job. That's not going to happen. But if there were to be an injury to Pacheco, I do think Steele has a very good chance to beat out CH for that RB2 role, right? This is kind of a crazy player. He's hybrid, running back, fullback, huge. Like, people are saying, like, crazy, like, freak athlete. So, yeah, I think Carson Steele, definitely keep eyes on him. For the same reasons I like Prince after some of his preseason showings. But it seems like Steele's a better player. So, I do like Carson Steele in Kansas City. And so that's a pretty short video, but that's just my conclusions, fantasy relevant from roster cuts that could actually help you starting week 1 already of your league. I don't want to go too deep on the depth charts, too deep on the cuts. But yeah, so hope this video helped. If it did, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.